Hello guys, welcome to the fiction series. Today we are gonna see, what if Naruto got harem with Fem Luffy, Nami and Boa. Huge shout out to Vortex Beater for this story. If you want more awesome fan fiction like this, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. So without wasting any time, let's get into the video. The Strawhat crew, plus Nami, was sailing on the newly minted Going Merry on their way to the next island after they realized something: their captain has once again eaten all the people. Was sitting on deck with a map, discussing where to go. Those people was Nami, a skilled navigator with an obsession with money. Nami was a girl of average height with a white shirt and blue stripes on the front and an orange skirt. She also had a great figure and a violent attitude. Barano's Zoro was a tall man with short green hair and a white shirt and beige pants, drinking some ale and strapped with several blades. And last but not least was a girl with short hair and a red vest and blue shorts, and an amazing figure as well with C-cup breasts. She had a distinct straw hat on her head. This is Monkey, or as she would be soon known as the Strawhat Lady. Are we there yet? Nami Luffy a whined, hanging over the rails, causing Nami shaking her head. No, not yet, she said with a deadpan, seeing as Luffy has asked this 7 times already. Now? No. Now? No. Now? Actually yes. Oh wait, what? Luffy blinked. We are here, Nami said with a smile, looking forward to finally getting something to eat and not having the captain eat it all. The Going Merry docked at the infamous Yuzu Island, home of the infamous Yonko and Marine Admiral. Yonko Red Death Kushina D. Newgate, daughter of Whitebeard and Mito. And Admiral Minato, a powerful admiral. So this is the birthplace of the Red Death, Zoro muttered. As well, Kushina has no longer been known to wield her blade anymore. She was still hailed as one of and the greatest sword wielder of all times, and any swordsman or wannabe worth their salt has heard of Kushina. Whoa, so this is the home of a Yonko. It's so huge, Luffy said in wonder, looking at the festive island village of houses made of wood and cobblestone roads, and towering above a giant castle and village of predominantly reeds. Everyone's hair is so red, she said as her crew sweat dropped and thought, is that what she first thought? Sanji, a tall man with a black suit and blonde hair smoking a cigarette, looked around at the smells of food cooking in curiosity. Smells like something is happening, huh? And he was answered when a rather pretty woman holding a basket of bread walked up. Are you guys newcomers? I mean, it's Lord Naruto's birthday. It's always a big potluck, she answers, only to be quickly scared off by Sanji coming on too strong for her liking, and she quickly walks off. The potluck? That means food, Luffy said, running towards the obvious large castle, and the crew blinked before Sanji yelled, Luffy-sama wait, and in a flash the cook was running off, followed by the rest, everyone excited by free food. The teen sat by the windowsill of the giant castle holding a note and staring at 2 boxes and something else. He had spiky red hair and wore a black hoodless jacket and a fur lining and black shorts. He had spiky red hair and cerulean blue. His name is Naruto, and in his hands was a note from his mother. Dear Naruto. Happy birthday, Sachi-kun, and while your father is busy with the Marines tracking down the revolutionaries, I'm not, and I think it's time I pass on a family heirloom, and as you can see, it's my sword Kaku, a sword capable of ignoring abnormalities like Loja effects or other barriers and completely invincible, and in the second box is a devil fruit, the infamous mythical's own, the Tori Tori no Mi model yarn. Now this is a warning to this fruit is one of the 4 great pirate treasures, and consuming this fruit will most certainly make you enemy of Marines. Should you consume this and not join the safe, my child, either as a pirate or a Marine. Love, Mommy. P.S. Burn the letter with matches I also sent. Looking at the longer box, it was clearly the sword Kaku. He opened the small box, and in there is a fruit the size of an orange, and it was red with red-orange sun swirls on. Sat thinking, wondering if he was willing to leave behind his normal life. Hearing a knock, he closed the box as the door opened, seeing an elderly lady in a French maid outfit. My prince, it's time for the festivity, Maya-yama, a family maid said with a bow. Of course, Maya, let us go. Naruto smiled as he pocketed the box holding the fruit in his pocket, and O followed her outside. SHP. Look at all this food, Luffy said looking at the buffet, and she quickly to a seat followed by Nami on her left, and on her right is Zoro after throwing Sanji away and making him sit next to him, and Usopp's lanky guy with a long nose and bushy hair next to Nami. Luffy quickly dug in at a rapid but neat way, consuming meat stick after meat stick but not making a mess, and occasionally stopping to dab her lip, which confused most at the odd way she ate. Suddenly people stopped as coming down in formal clothes, and a large man with bald head but red beard on one side and Maya on the other side is Naruto, who smiled and waved as his people as they cheered for the kind and humble prince, some ladies even swooning and catcalling the handsome prince. Meanwhile, with the Strawhats, Luffy froze staring at the prince as even Naruto stopped to look at the pirate queen in the making. My liege, are you well? Sidon the guard said to his prince, and he shook the day off, and he replied, yay, I'm fine, just thinking on those guys, nodding to the Strawhats, and Sidon shrugged at this. Seems like a rowdy bunch, my lord. Naruto didn't respond. Continued, and to the Strawhats' surprise Naruto sat right by them. My name is Uzumaki, nice to meet you guys. Usopp trailed off as he was hugely unnerved by the presence of the young prince, especially since he can feel the death glares of the fangirls. Usopp straightened up as he prepared to lie. He was brutally cut off by his ever-excitable captain. Hi, my name is Luffy and this is my crew. She pointedly ignored the yell of anger by her crew for outright exposing themselves as pirates in foreign land, and Nami yell off, I'm not a pirate. Naruto raised an eyebrow. Your crew? So you're a pirate, Luffy-san? He asked as his guard tensed up prepared to protect his king, but Naruto seeing this waved it off as Luffy and her crew seemed nice. Luffy nodded her head. Yay, I'm gonna be the pirate queen, she exclaimed with pride as a smile appeared on the faces of her crew and Nami. Naruto blinked at hearing her conviction and smiled. Well, that's a treacherous journey to go on, Luffy-san. Luffy smiled, I know and I don't care, I will achieve my dream no matter what. Kukikuku, Naruto laughed. You know what, I like you guys, so what's your crew's name? Barano is Oro, the moss-head swordsman's Kurti said. Hi, I'm Usopp, introduced the long-nosed sniper. My name is Sanji, and you better not be getting close to Luffy-sama, Sanji threatened, causing the prince to raise an eyebrow in amusement. I'm not a pirate, but I'm Nami and I'm helping navigate, Nami said, hoping to make a good impression on the prince. Well, you guys seem like a lovely cast of characters, Naruto chuckled, as well he never seen pirates outside his mother's crew, the Red Hell Pirates. He certainly didn't expect them to be like this. Please feel free to eat and enjoy the festivities, the crew cheered as they indulged in the festivities, eating, drinking and partying. Luffy was swept by joy as she watched her crew enjoy themselves. This is what it means to be a pirate. Liberation. Luffy could feel her heart beating out of her chest, but instead of fear or anxiety, she felt true unadulterated joy. But as quick as the feeling came, it went away as the lights went out suddenly, as screams of fright could be heard, and she felt a wave of energy pass over her, and when the lights returned suddenly Luffy sees everyone except her, Zoro, Sanji, Naruto, and his guard returned to bronze. What the hell? Naruto shouted, standing to his feet looking around the place as his guard V drew his sword and stood by on guard aiming it at the Strawhats, who were examining their petrified crewmate and sword of crewmate. It must be these pirates here to steal your mother's treasure, my liege, V said, glaring at Luffy, who glared right back. I would never attack my own Nakama. Luffy glared, angered by the man's words, causing Naruto to jump in between them, raising his hands in a placating manner. Now everyone, we need to calm down and think rationally now, V. It would be counterintuitive for Luffy-san to attack her own crewmates, Naruto said as Luffy shouted in agreement. Zoro examined the frozen Nami. This is obviously the work of a devil fruit user, a strong one at that, he said. Naruto blinked, remembering the devil fruit in his pocket. Devil fruit user, no one in our army is a devil fruit user, right? The dark-skinned guard shrugged. We just got a batch of new recruits, sir. Any of them could have a devil fruits. I'll have to check with Raven. Naruto nodded. So we'll split up. V can search the castle, and I'll check with Raven. Will any of you come with me, he said, directing the last part to the Strawhats. Luffy stepped up. Sanji and Zoro will follow, Dreadhead, she said, ignoring V shouting, and I can go with you to Raven's. Naruto nodded as he and Luffy quickly made their way outside as V turned to Zoro and Sanjay. We need to make haste if the assailant is still in the castle, the two pirates agreed as they followed the guard. Outside. Naruto and Luffy walked amongst the populace, everyone frozen, covered in bronze, faces screwed in horror and or shock. Everyone, my people are all petrified. What sort of monster could have done this? Naruto growled angrily at the assailant. Luffy also frowned. Whoever did this is strong, no doubt. Suddenly some guards ran up to them. My lord, the people, they. Naruto cut the guard off. I know I need where Raven is, he demanded, but the guard shook his head. But that's the thing, sir, Raven is gone. He said to the guard, surprise. In the castle. V, Sanji and Zoro strolled the castle looking at the occasional frozen maid. V growled, as soon as I get my hands on the asshole who did this, he was cut off as he saw a flash in the corner of his eyes and he ducked under a bronze dagger that stabbed into a wall. Zoro drew his swords and Sanji took a stance as a large muscular man with bronze armor and a full beard and red hair stepped out in the shadows of a bronze spear forming at his side. Raven, V muttered, but why? Raven shook his head. V, you are not ready for the knowledge of my reasons. Sanji and V sweat dropped and Zoro yelled with enormous shark teeth and wide eyes, the hell is that supposed to mean? Raven grabbed a still-forming spear and said, death to those who oppose the future pirate king. G slammed the liquidly spear into G ground, sending a wave of liquid bronze at the trio. Don't let it touch you, Sanji said as he ran in the opposite way, followed by Zoro and V, with Zoro yelling, obviously you damn cook. Outside. Luffy and Naruto ran back to the castle in a hurry, climbing the castle stairs, and as they approached the front door, they were knocked over by the running trio, causing them all to tumble down the stairs and unite nationally, dodging the liquid bronze wave. Ugh, what the hell, guys, Naruto groaned, standing up only to see Raven standing at the top of the stairs, liquid spear still at hand, glaring down at the group. Damn if Raven, I'll make you pay for this betrayal, Naruto shouted at Raven as the other four stood and took their respective stance, be armed with a sea stone sword. My name is not Raven sir, it is Captain Kozu, and now I have the chance to extort a Yonko, he chuckled. Me and my crew will be filthy rich, waving his hands, he shouted, XE at my sides. Two large men, one wielding a sword, landed on each side of the group, and Zeet the sword wielder grinned with yellow teeth. Looks like it's a feast of fresh meat, eh brother? Zeet simply nodded, taking out knuckle dusters. Our group stood at a standstill, everyone quiet as a leaf floated to the ground, and as soon as it landed Sanji dashed to the right and Zoro to the left, clashing with Zeet and Zeet respectfully, and Luffy, Naruto, and V launched at Kozu. Gum. Pistol, Luffy yelled, stretching her fist back, launching it at Kozu, who formed a shield, saving him hut, denting it, allowing V with a follow-up slash to cut through it, leaving him open for Naruto to kick him, launching into the wall. Kozu stood up and glared at Luffy. Another devil fruit user, Luffy nodded with a grin. Yep, ate the gum fruit, I'm a rubber human. She then glared, and I'm gonna use it to kick your ass. Kozu laughed and pointed at her with his spear. With my metal. Model bronze, I'm untouchable, he goaded. Then his spear launched a wave of gunk at the trio, and while Luffy and Naruto was able to dodge, unfortunately V was not and was turned into a bronze statue like the others. V. Naruto screamed out for his fallen comrade, while Luffy gritted her teeth. Kuzu laughed, when you're touched by my endless bronze spear, you will turn into a statue, no matter how strong you are, unlike my heaven bronze wave. Damn you Kuzu, oh, Naruto yelled while running up to the pirate, and Kuzu responded by swinging his spear at Naruto, who ducked. Launched to kick at Kuzu's spleen, who hunched over just to catch a dual punch from Luffy. Gum bazooka, Luffy yelled as it launched Kuzu through the wall. Did we get him? Naruto said, only for a giant wave of liquid bronze to approach the two, and Luffy quickly jumped in front of Naruto and inflated with her gum balloon. And she blocked the attack. She also launched Naruto back before turning into a large bronze statue. Naruto landed with a thud as he looked up to see the petrified rubber girl. Luffy and Naruto yelled, only to be cut off by a bronze spear impaling his shoulder. Kuzu hobbled out of the rubble holding the elongated spear, grinning madly as Naruto was slowly turned into bronze. Face it, my liege, you're your days wanting peace, it's pathetic, your mother would be disappointed, he laughed as he twisted his spear, causing Naruto great pain. Naruto fumbled with his pocket and pulled out the box with the devil fruit, which Kuzu noticed. Oh, I see you got a devil fruit, well go ahead, nothing can stand up to the power of the metal model bronze. Naruto smirked and responded gladly and bit down, and he had to admit the taste was horrible. Suddenly Naruto exploded in a column of flame so bright Kuzu had to cover his eyes, and when it died down and Kuzu uncovered his eyes, he was shocked still. There stood Naruto, but he was glowing red with heat as the bronze covering his body melted away and his shirt was reduced to ashes. This is the power of the strongest Kuzu, the power of the bird model Yaren, he said as wings of flames exploded from his back. The Seikuru was concerned, was in heat radiating off the prince was so intense the ground under and slightly around him was scorching black, and much to his worry the bronze metal coated Luffy began melting away. Naruto wasn't waiting around though as he launched himself at Kuzu, and with the flaming wings he easily blitzed Kuzu and slammed a superheated uppercut into Kuzu's face, launching him into the air, and Naruto working on instinct, he flew up after Kuzu and grabbed his legs and jetted down to the ground, slamming the invading pirate into the ground. Kuzu coughed up blood as he hit the was letting up as he rushed the downed pirate, but Kuzu, tired of being ragdolled, summoned a trio of spears to spear the approaching devil fruit user. Naruto quickly used his wings to propel himself in the opposite direction, avoiding the spear, but giving Kuzu time to recover. Damn it, I gotten beepy, and now he's a serious threat, but no worries, I'm more experienced, so if I play it careful I can win, Kuzu thought as Naruto landed across from him. Kuzu formed a bronze javelin and launched it at Naruto, who tried to use his heat to melt the spear, but still had to dodge out the way of the semi-melted javelin. Damn it, not hot enough to melt midair, Naruto thought as he soared up and tried to dive at the malicious captain, but a bronze shield helped deflect enough damage despite Naruto melting a hole with his punch, but lodging his fist into it, getting it stuck. Kuzu, taking quick advantage of his opponent's stuck fist before he melted enough to escape, yanked the shield downward, knocking Naruto off balance as Kuzu formed a hammer to slam Naruto in the face, sending him slamming into a wall. Kuzu summoned another wave of liquid into the wall, coating and trapping Naruto inside for all of 3 seconds before Naruto bursted through, wings flaming and heat emitting, glaring down at Kuzu. Surrender now, Naruto began. Kuzu, you can't beat me, to say nothing of beating us, Kuzo eyebrow raised. 2 of us? Kuzu asked, only for his question to be answered quickly by a 2-fist lodging into his chest, knocking him into the floor. And then the arms retracted back to a monkey liquid bronze, trailed down her body and a grin on her face. Shush, seems you decided that, go with my plan, Naruto. Luffy smiled. Kuzu and Naruto both blinked and asked there was a plan. Luffy nodded. Of course this was all part of my plan. The Straw Hat team nodded to herself as Guy's sweat dropped. Yuzu shook it off as he smirked. It seems you're right Naruto, I can't beat you at least in this form. Naruto and Luffy tensed as seemingly all the liquid bronze used prior by Kuzu seemed to collect around Kuzu surrounding him as he let out a malicious laugh. So screw being subtle, I'll just crush you both like the bugs you are, Kuzu yelled as he began to grow into a bronze titan as Naruto blanched and Luffy grin grow wider. Oh no, Naruto said. Oh yes, Luffy said. But Zoro earlier. Zoro blade clashed with Zeke briefly before they broke apart and Zeke, a lanky dark-skinned man with dreadlocks and yellow gold shark teeth carrying an Itachi, just grin as Zoro gritted his teeth, the injuries from Mihawk's sword burning in pain. It seems you movement are sluggish, however Zeke and Zero dashed and the two traded blows. Your blade remains sharp, Zeke said, launching at Zoro with an overhead strike that Zoro parried at the last min. That's because I have something to prove to someone, Zoro growled as he spun around and stabbed at Zeke's rib, which was blocked. Zoro ducked under a retaliation slash from Zeke before jumping back. Well, if that's the case, Zeke crouched before blurring towards Zoro, disappearing using speed and appearing above the green hair swordsman's. Then show me your resolve, pirate hunter Rorano. Zoro 16 cross-slash, Zeke yelled, bring his blade down in a flurry of slashes, creating powerful airwaves which flew down to Zoro, who stood, which his eyes shadowed memories of Kuina and his defeat at the hands of Mihawk flashing in his eyes before he glared up at Zeke. It'll never lose at the hands of another swordsman again. You hear that, Kuina? Zoro yelled out, jumping up, blocking or just tanking the slashes from Zeke. One sword style. Phantasm strike. Zoro called out, swinging his blade as Zeke put up his blade to block it, but much to his surprise Zoro cut right through his blade before landing a devastating slash on Zeke, canceling his pass out from the pain as they both fell to the ground. But Sanji around the same time. Sanji flew back from a punch from Zeke, crawling to the ground as Zeke, a practical wall of muscles, calmly strolled towards the cook, who stumbled up and rushed Zeke again with a mutton shot, but Zeke tanked it and retaliating with a heavy gut punch, sending Sanji up in the air. Zeke said nothing before jumping up and grabbing Sanji's face before throwing the cook into the castle kitchen. Sanji landed coughing up blood as Zeke landed next to him, glaring down. Your attack is weak and your passion weaker, and yet you dare stand as a practitioner of red leg style, with your passion is as cold as ice, Zeke said as Sanji stood up. You talk too much, Sanji said before launching a feint kick which Zeke fell for, bring up his arms, leaving his chin exposed, which Sanji took advantage of, retracting his feint and launching a kick to Zeke's jaw, sending the giant man back, landing in the ground. If I can't beat you with my passion, then I'll compensate with my intelligence, Sanji said, walking up to Zeke, who stood up and threw a picture in anger that Sanji jumped over, and Sanji responded with a heel kick that planted Zeke's head into the ground. You're not very smart, are you, Sanji muttered, taking out a cigarette and lighting it up. Zeke roared, jumping at Sanji, who stood there before bending back to dodge the punch, waiting for kicking Zeke in the torso hard. White chocolate panna cotta, Sanji yelled, launching several hard kicks to Zeke's chest, which sent the pirate high in the sky. Sanji took a drag of his cigarette before raising his foot, and here's a sight of passion fruit, he said before kicking the falling body of Zeke in the head, launching him into a cabinet, knocking the giant out cold. Sanji smirked as Zeke collapsed before hearing a roar from outside. But Naruto and Luffy. The say thing weren't going well is an understatement in Naruto's opinion, as he was slammed into the ground by what Luffy dubbed Gigakuzu. Said rubber woman was tossed around by Kuzu, who used spikies on his hands to injure her. Damn it, Naruto grunted. He wasn't strong enough to pierce through Kuzu's metal body with pure heat, and Luffy had strength, but not enough to do permanent damage with. Naruto stood igniting himself, wings flowing out and body temperature rising. Luffy. He'll distract him for a bit, stretch your arms out as far as you can, and tell me when you do, Naruto called out to the Straw Hat captain, who nodded and hopped back. Naruto crouched and flew at Gigakuzu, who tried to swipe Naruto down, but he was able to maneuver out the wave and throw a punch, sending a wave of superheated air at Kuzu, who reeled back at the intense heat. Naruto didn't let up and charge with a punch to Kuzu. While it dented the giant, it didn't do much to Kuzu with the punch alone. However, the heat too of Naruto's fist burned Kuzu's face, melting half of it. Kuzu responded back by snatching Naruto out the air, crushing him despite the yelled as he felt his ribs break. Naruto. Luffy yelled out, her arm stretched high above the castle. Here it comes, she launched a punch with the force of a bullet train. Naruto grunted before inhaling the best he could and blowing a wave of hot air towards Gigakuzu's chest, and as Luffy's fist entered the heated atmosphere it caught fire, which Luffy noticed. Gomu Gomu no Red Hawk. Luffy yelled as her burning fist tore right through Gigakuzu and punching the Kuzu hiding inside, knocking the pirate out. The shell quickly melted and Naruto began to fall to the ground unconscious due to suffocation, but before he hit the ground the blonde was caught by Sanji, who arrived right at the scene. Don't think I'll be here to save you again, Sanji grumbled before getting a hug from Luffy. A good job Sanji, she smiled, completely ignorant of Sanji. Her nose bled with hearts coming out of his eyes. The next day. Naruto groaned sitting up in bed to see his right hand V standing with Luffy. Sanji's Oro and blinked before sitting and asking about the people. They are just fine, Naruto-sama. The castle however is gonna need some repairs, V groaned with a smile as he looked at Luffy, Sanji, and Naruto, who all looked away with an innocent look. We have bigger problems however, Zoro said. Nami ran off with our money and our ship and maps. Naruto frowned. So what are you guys doing here? Naruto said. You should be finding your ship and runaway crewmate. Luffy smiled. Yeah, we should, but I want you to join my crew first. Naruto blinked with the others. Join your crew? I mean, I can't, I have a kingdom to run, and he was cut off by V hand on his shoulder. It's okay my lord, you can come back, I can take care of the kingdom, you go on that adventure, V smiled. I'm not leaving till you join my crew. Luffy turned to the rest of her crew who all nodded. It's best not to fight it if Luffy want you to join the crew, you're joining one way or another, Zoro said as Naruto put his head down. I'm not getting away, am I? The prince said as the others shook their head no. Later on. Everyone was gathered on the reserve boat ready to sail after Nami. V handed Naruto a map and said if what you saw was correct, the Nami-san would be heading to Konami Island about 4 hours east of here. Naruto nodded. The blonde was now wearing a orange sleeveless shirt with black baggy pants and sandals, and his forearms wrapped up and strapped to his waist was his mother's sword blank, which had Zoro comatose in shock for a good min. Piro. The hand answered. The den hand belonged to a blonde man with spiky blonde hair with two long bangs on the head, a slim face, and sharp blue, wore a blue suit with same color dress pants, with a marine justice coat is his Marine Admiral Namikaze di Minato, Aka Kinpaku, gold leaf. Hello. Kinpaku answered. So Naruto left the island with pirates, huh? The admiral muttered looking out the window of his. Always had the feeling his son would grow restless, but to join up with pirates. I see, thanks Jiraiya. No, I'll deal with it myself, I'll just have Smoker post up at Lobetown and have him head Naruto off, Minato said. In the captain quarters of a ship docked at one island at the New World was a red-eyed woman with a heart-shaped face and grey, wore a white shirt with a jabot and long black pants over her shoulders, was a poison purple captain's coat with a Jolly Roger on it being a skull with long hair and the bones replaced with swords. The captain's quarters was rather Spartan with a desk with papers on it and a picture of her with a young blonde boy. The wall behind her was wanted poster with her smiling wielding. Haku pointed at the picture. Wanted dead or alive, red blade Uzumaki T. Kushina. Bounty. 4,900,000,000, Barry. She just hung up the den mushy from her old home back in East was quiet with a smile, just a voluptuous pink hair woman walked, wore a bicorn with a link dress and a black captain coat on her, in a sheath was a large sword. This is Kushina, first mate Charlotte Linlin Aka, big mom for her motherly attitude and the tendency to adopt kids, and Kushina would not tolerate a crewmate having so many kids, especially her first mate, so I made some changes. You called Kushina Taicho? Charlotte asked, only for Kushina to hand her 2 posters that was on her desk. What's this? Linlin asked, only to blink, then burst into laughter with Kushina. Mama, Linlin laughed. Kushina laughed as what she showed her first mate was 2 wanted posters. Wanted only alive. Red Wings Uzumaki T. Naruto. Bounty. 20,000 Barris. It didn't take too long to get to the Konami was at the helm looking with, never been outside the kingdom before, and this is an awe-inspiring experience. Luffy was sleeping, leg hanging off, the bubble coming from her was also sleeping, resting against the mast with Usopp was looking around for any, just finished making some makeshift bentos from the fish they caught. Eyes, look, it's the Mary. Usopp yelled, pointing towards a port guarded by what seemed to be fish people. The Mary, where Luffy said, sitting up from her sleep in an instant looking over their temporary ship. Alright, it is the Mary, and where the Mary is, Luffy hinted. Nami is, Sanji grinned, lighting a cigarette. So what's the plan, Captain? The blonde cook asked Luffy, who was cleaning her ear. First we get Nami, then some food. The rubber woman nodded to herself, getting a sweat drop from her crew. Okay, slightly different plans. Zoro and Usopp are the stealthiest, they could search the port, see if you can retrieve the Mary. Naruto instructed, getting the moss head swordsman stirred. Meanwhile, me, Sanji and Luffy will scope the town, see if we can see why fishmen are on this island and get some food, Naruto said, getting Luffy a yell yada. With wishes of good luck the teams departed. Group B made their way through the town, seeing it was basically in poor conditions and people in similar if not worse conditions. I think I know why the fishmen are here. And I don't think it's for a good reason either, Naruto said, gripping Aka CHKKK in the sheath tightly, while Sanji hid a frown behind the cigarette he was smoking. Luffy merely frowned, but gaze was caught when she saw a familiar head of orange hair. Oi Nami. Luffy yelled, waving her hands wildly, getting the girl's attention. Luffy. Sanji. Prince Naruto, what are you guys doing here? Nami said, surprised to the prince with a ragtag pirate crew. I should ask the same thing, Luffy said, hand on her hips with a pout. After all, navigators shouldn't steal their captain's ships. First of all, I'm not your navigator and never will be. Nami snarled. Second of all, your ship is untouched in the harbor, I can just ask Arlong to Arlong. Nami was saying till Naruto cut her off. As in Saw knows Arlong? Naruto asked. Don't tell me he is terrorizing a small village in the East Blue, Naruto said, getting shocked looks from Luffy and Sanji and a jaw clench from Nami. The hell, don't tell me that those bastards are messing with my navigator, Luffy said, but Nami just turned on her heel and shouted, just focus on leaving and mind your damn business for once. She then stormed off. Man, isn't Nami Swan just adorable when she is angry? Sanji swooned, getting Naruto to fassip him. Such a pervert hero, cook, Naruto remarked, only for Sanji to get in his face. What the hell you say, you pompous bastard, Sanji snarled, and the two blondes got in a shouting match. You two are really loud, huh, voice said, and everyone turned and saw a beautiful blue hair and a yellow sleeveless shirt. Hello, my name Najiko and I want to talk. Group A found themselves in a quite literal set, kneeled, arms binded with Usopp by his side, with silent and tears being shed by the cowardly sniper. Sitting on a makeshift throne was a muscular shark fisherman with a floral patterned shirt and had a long saw-like nose and a saw blade resting by the is Arlong, the strongest pirate in East Blue. By his side was a fisherman and a guy named Chowby, a large squid fisherman named Hachi, and another shark fisherman with a black muscle shirt and grey pants with a large wrapped up Pakage by the name of Kissum. Overdone? Maybe, but he is perfect for this arc. Zoro frowned and narrowed his eyes when he saw Nami walk in and look at them. Nami-san, what are you doing here with these guys? Usopp yelled, surprised to see his friend with the fishman. Oh, you haven't figured it out, huh? You guys really are a bunch of idiots, huh? Nami said, surprisingly cold and haughty. Oh, I see you know my navigator, Arlong says, laughing a bit. Truly a devious woman would even sell her mother for a quick beery. This got the other fishmen to laugh, but Zoro with his keen eyes observed this triggered Nami badly. Deciding to poke at this, Zoro said, a snake in the grass. Should have figured this, annoyed Nami, who walked over and kicked Zoro in his still healing wound from Mohawk, opening it again, getting the swordsman to grunt. Best stay quiet, unless Nami was saying, until Zoro suddenly leaped backwards into the water, much to everyone's shock. Idiot, you're still tied up. Nami yelled, kicking off her shoes and leaping after the green-haired pirate, and after a tense moment resurfaced with Zoro. Cough. Cough. I knew there was still more left in you, know, Zoro coughed out, getting a frown from Nami, who said, don't expect another rescue, idiot. Zoro stayed quiet for a before yelling, Usopp now. As he said, the Usopp shuffled and knocked a smoke pellet from his holster, causing a cloud of smoke to form, blinding Nami and the Arlong pirates. When the smoke cleared, Arlong growled as all that remained was an empty smoke pellet and a pair of sliced ropes. So these fishmen assholes are holding your island hostage, draining them of their resources, and Nami is trying to free you guys, Naruto summarized after talking to Najiko, who was Nami's walk down the street, hair covering eyes. What do we do, Captain? Sanji asked while taking a smoke. Do we help Nami Swan? Luffy was quiet for a moment before popping down on the floor. No, Nami said she doesn't want help and we should respect her wishes, Luffy said before laying back on the ground, putting her straw hat on her face. I'm going to sleep now, wake me up when Zoro and Usopp get the boat. With it, the rubber girl was asleep. Sighing to himself, Naruto turned and patted Sanji on the shoulder. I'm going to see if I can find Nami. Iroh, stay and look out for Zoro and Usopp. Naruto walked off, leaving a grumbling Sanji. Damn you whiskered bastard, Sabji said before blinking as a running Zoro carried a still tied up Usopp. Walking up to Nami and Najiko house, Naruto blinked as he saw a small squad of marines led by a mousy marine bastard, all of them sticking up Najiko and Nami. Listen, you little bitch, we've been tipped off that you're holding illegal cash and it seems I have to confiscate it myself, the captain said greedily in his eyes. Hey look, Nami began, but Naruto just calmly walked in front of the two sisters, surprising everyone. Nobody is paying, no one, not on my watch, the Phoenix Zone user said lazily. The Marine Captain Nezumi blinked before snarling and yelling out, Oi brat, who the hell do you think you are? I am the great Captain. Nezumi was cut off by wings constructed of fiery red flames and plasma erupted from Naruto's back, causing everyone to sweat. Yeah, to be honest, I don't really care, Naruto said before spreading his legs apart and drawing back his fist. I tend to ignore talking rats, before Naruto threw and punched and a superheated wave of air in the shape of a fist rushed the Marines. Air Force ignite. Naruto yelled as soon as the air came in contact with the Marines. They bursted into Marine dogs yelled in pain as they randomly fired off. The bullet struck Naruto, causing him to wince, but the bullet holes burst in small flames, healing the wounds. Is everyone okay? Naruto said, stretching his body, not used to the pain of getting shot. Najiko nodded while she was grazed. She was meanwhile was quiet, trying to put together who would rat out the Marine. She came to one conclusion. Arlong. 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 Nami glared with righteous anger and ran off to confront her boss. Naruto frowned and left a rendezvous with his seems like they either have to leave now or take action. Nami ran upset with tears held and sadness was in her light, and tricked her made her waste nearly 10 years of her life, all for nothing. Dripping over herself she glared at the ground before drawing her knife and started stabbing at her Arlong pirate tattoo. Arlong. 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 Nam yelled with each stab trying to rip the tattoo off her shoulder. But a hand stopped her and looking up she saw Luffy a hat shadowing her eye holding her knife hand back. Naruto told me what happened all you have to do is ask and I'll take care of this she said quietly. Nami lips trembled, eyes watered before she began sobbing out loud. Please make him pay for taking everything from me I can't do it so please Luffy help me, Nami begged the captain. Luffy simply took the straw hat off her head, revealing silky black hair she placed it on Nami's head shocking her, remembering that Luffy claimed that this is her greatest treasure. Walking up a little bit she threw her fist into the air of course I will. She yelled to the top of her began walking forward calmly, her goal clear. Zoro sat holding Wado in his cross-legged eyes covered by his goggles. Sanji stood smoking his lazily twirled AKKK in one hand, all of their eyes shadow. Let's go Luffy said firmly. Right the boys respond with conviction following behind their captain while Nami watched in awe. At Arlong Park the villagers angry on Nami's behalf decided to riot and overthrow Arlong with sheer numbers. They yelled with pitchfork and makeshift weapons when they saw the Strawhats all making the walk to Arlong Park. Arriving at the gate Luffy said Naruto give me some heat. The helmsman nodded before closing his eyes and channeling his Tori no Mi model Yar the jungle dragon to increase the heat in the area. Stretching her fist back far enough she let it go and the speed combined with the heat to create the Gomu Gomu no Red Hawk. But the flaming fist Luffy blew the gate open with a small explosion and when the dust settled the crew stood. Arlong. Show your ass so I can kick it Luffy yelled out getting the fishman's attention. Arlong and his top men appeared behind the two captains stared each other down before grinning viciously. Well you must be the humans that Nami was hanging around Arlong chuckled, you better get to sprinting before I make you all dinner. Luffy growled before quickly stretching her arm back and firing it off Gomu Gomu no pistol, she yelled and punched Arlong off his feet but otherwise not doing too much damage. You made my navigator cry and for that you pay Luffy yelled and the fishmen were shocked by someone hitting got the lower fishmen to charge the Strawhats. Usopp and Naruto split on the left while Sanji and Zoro split on the right and Luffy fired another Gomu Gomu no pistol into the crowd. Usopp ran from a small crowd while still firing off his numerous stars Naruto punched one fishman and used his wings to bat one away. Flapping his wings Naruto flew up and got some distance before out a wave flames flew down and consumed and burned a large amount of fishmen. Naruto turned and saw Sanji hopping and kicking some fishmen up Sanji kicked one with a yell of collier shot. Landing a shot to the neck. Zoro was mowing down fishmen left and right with a normal blade in one hand and Wado in the ducked under stretched fists from Luffy, who fired off a Gomu Gomu no cannon. Zoro let's do that combo we talked about Naruto yelled down to Zoro, who nodded and held Wado with his teeth and pulled out the other normal, then crossed the blades over his chest as Naruto landed behind him and superheated the air. Sandbrick Nensh Makuma Darebu 3-sword style burning demon drive, Zoro yelled, bringing his blades down, causing a concentrated wave of flames to cut into the rest of the fodder. Your fodder is done Arlong Sanji said smoking his cigarette Arlong merely smirked and Hachin stepped up and drew 6 short swords from his waist. Don't worry big bro Long I handle this fodder Long yelled as he tried to bring his swords down, but it was blocked by Zoro. I think I will take care of this, Zoro said as he begun clashing with the octopus fishman. Split up and take the big guys Luffy said winding her fist back I'll take on Arlong. The others nodded and began breaking off with Sanji fighting Karubi, Chu fighting Usopp who left into the forest and Naruto taking the right hand Kisame. You won't last minute against a battle with Samehada Kisame said as he took off the bandaged weapon. I'll have you cooked well done Naruto said drawing blank as the temperature began increasing. You Samehada can cut in the leagues with blank. Oh Samehada doesn't cut Kisame chuckled as he unwrapped Samehada, revealing a bulky dull blade with sharp scales. Samehada shreds the fishmen grin maliciously. Zoro grunted as his blades clashed with Hachin's 6 blades Zoro was already on the make matters worse, Zoro could feel the stitching from his hastily fixed wounds undoing, so he knew he had little time to beat this guy. Face it you can't beat a fishman human, Hachin grinned as he had 3 blades to Zoro's 3. You 3 blades are nothing to my 6 Hachin said breaking the contest and going for an all-out overhead. It's not about the amount of the swords Zoro said, eyes shadowed before swinging his swords in tandem, shattering Hachin blades. Impossible. Hachin gasped, my swords weigh 300 kilograms. They should weigh more than all yours the fishman said, and Zoro simply tied his bandana around his head. Not the literal weight, idiot, Zoro said calmly before crossing his blades over his chest and weighed Ichimonji in his mouth as his K. It's the figurative weight behind it, what it means for you to wield your blades, Zoro yelled before vanishing. He then reappeared behind Hachin, and suddenly hundreds of cuts appeared on Hachin's body. 150% onigiri, Zoro said calmly, resheathing Wado, and Hachin collapsed. You may have 6 blades, but they all weigh nothing, Zoro said. Thunk, that hurted Zoro though, collapsing to a knee. 150% onigiri was an attack that uses 150% of his physical capabilities to attack faster and stronger than before. Downside, it was hell on his injured body, and he could feel his wounds bleeding and his muscles burning, and yet he again managed to continue to keep his promise. I'll never lose another sword battle, Captain, I promise, Zoro thought before passing out. Sanji ducked under a blow from Karubi and blocked a follow-up blow from the fishman. You're not bad, human, Karubi grinned, but can you face me with the odds against a fishman, said to Sanji, confusion. What are yo, Sanji was saying, but was caught off guard when Karubi looped around him and suplexed him into the water. Sanji struggled as they went deeper under the water, but the fishman held tight. Damn it, this is a problem, Sanji thought as he went for body blows, but with the water enhancement Karubi tanked it. You human may walk the lands, but us fishmen rule the sea, Karubi grinned as he winded up a strike. Fishman karate. Guillotine. Karubi then karate strike Sanji in the ribs, getting Sanji to cough blood and water. I should only have 5 mins left, Sanji thought. Let's make it count, the cook thought before kicking the fishman in the ribs and breaking away. Anakata shot, Sanji yelled, landing a barrage of kicks to the finish the barrage with a kick to the jaw that pushed Karubi away. Now's my chance, Sanji thought, swimming up to the surface, but his ankle was grabbed by Karubi. And where you think you're going, the Arlong pirate growled. Back to my friend, Sanji yelled. Collier shot, the blonde cook growled, kicking Karubi in the neck before finally breaking to the for breath. Sanji climbed up back to land. Damn it, that was close, Sanji muttered before reaching into his pocket and sighing in relief when he found one dry cigarette. Lighting it, he took a draw of the cigarette just as Karubi jumped out of the water. Damn you, filthy human. Karubi yelled as he went for fishman karate. Shotgun, the fishman yelled. What a drag, Sanji sighed before he kicked Karubi right in the chest. Shut up, the cook said quietly, before following up with a chin shot. Ashen hook kick. Yelled Sanji, perform a devastating hook kick to the flew through several pillars as it collapsed. Run away, Usopp said as he ran away as Chu fired Mizadepos at the cowardly pirate. I need to get away, Usopp said before gasping sharply in pain as a water bullet pierced his side. Thunk, Usopp yelled as he hopped over and knocked over, finally caught up and looked around. Show yourself, coward, or I'll tear the village to pieces, Chu said low and menacingly. Shit, Usopp thought, worried until an idea popped into his head. Great pirates out, put everything on the line, Usopp thought before standing up. But brave warriors of the seas, the sharpshooter thought before charging Chu, who was caught off guard. Put his life on the line above everyone else, Usopp yelled. Usopp Wagomu, Usopp tactic rubber band of doom, drawing back a rubber band to its limit. Unfortunately, Chu reacted and fired a Mizadepo Usopp in the face, sending him crashing up slowly to the downed pirate. Chu saw him lying in a puddle of blood. A weakling to the very end, Chu said before shrugging. At least he went out bravely, Chu said before turning away and walking off. Thanks for the nice compliment, Chu heard a voice before turning to see Usopp standing just fine. Ketchup star, Usopp grinned before throwing a bottle of sake that Chu reflex caught in. Fire star, Usopp yelled, firing off the projectile at the bottle causing an explosion. Now's my chance, Usopp said, hopping into the smoke and launching a barrage of attacks. Usopp hammer. Usopp hammer. Usopp Wagomu. Usopp hammer. Panting as the smoke cleared, Usopp saw a burnt, beaten and very much defeated Chu. I won, Usopp said quietly. I won. The sharpshooter cheered over the body of his defeated foe. Naruto grunted as he blocked a blow from Kisame. This guy is strong as hell, Naruto thought. That sword must weigh a ton as he broke the struggle by backing off and remaining on the however quickly followed up with Samehada knocking blank out of his hands. I really need those sword lessons from Zoro, Naruto thought to himself. What wrong, scared of losing some skin? Kisame grinned as he swung Samehada down, making Naruto fly up to dodge. I can win if I keep distance, Naruto thought to himself before superheating the air around him. Air Force Ignite Flow, Naruto yelled out, swiping his hand, creating a wave of flames that Kisame blocked with his sword. Not bad, brat, Kisame smirked and planted Samehada in the ground next to him before clapping his hands. Fishman Karate Jetstream Blade, Kisame yelled, aiming his combined hands towards Naruto, and a thin and dense supercharged stream of water to Naruto which sliced across his chest. Black Naruto coughed out some blood as Kisame hopped up and slammed Naruto into the nearby lake with scream as the lake touched him as he felt intense burning out the knee-length lake. Naruto quickly dried himself off with some heat. The hell, don't tell me I have an increased weakness to water, Naruto thought before he was forced to leap out the way of Kisame's jetstream blade. They're nowhere to run, little bird, Kisame grinned from his perch on a tree as he pursued the running Naruto with the water blade. Air Force Ignite, Naruto yelled, holding his hands out and trailing against the nearby trees, causing a small forest fire, forcing Kisame out of the tree. Smart brat, Kisame chuckled as the fire raged around them, making a small arena. Dropping Samehada, Kisame coated his hands in water while Naruto summoned flames to his hands. Now let's see if you can finish the job, the first mate of the Arlong pirates yelled as he threw a punch that made Naruto's head snap it off. Naruto punched Kisame across the cheek, sending the shark fishman head. Continued for a while as the two pirates went blow for blow. With each punch, memories flashed before Kisame's eyes. A younger Kisame looked out at the sea at night, clutching Samehada to his side. "What are you doing, young Kisame?" He had a voice and turned to see a tall, muscular sea bream fishman with black hair and wore open wide and black open vest with a maroon captain coat on his shoulders. Finally emblazoned on his chest was a large red sun tattoo. "Brother Fisher," Kisame said, surprised to his captain. "What are you doing here?" The captain of the Sun Pirates chuckled. "I sense trouble brewing in your heart, young Kisame," Tiger said. "So what ails you at this time of day?" Kisame was quiet for a bit before saying, "Why do humans hate us?" Kisame asked. "Is because we are better than them." "Better?" Tiger asked amused. "We are not better just because we are fishmen, we are better because we fight for what is right," he said, surprising Kisame. What?" Kisame asked, and Tiger looked out to the sea. "We fight for not only our liberation, but for the liberation of all beings, fishmen or otherwise," Tiger said as the moon illuminated him. "Never forget why we set sail, Kisame Hoshigaki," Tiger said. "Damn it all." Kisame yelled. "I won't lose." Fishman karate scattered shots. "Neither will I," Naruto yelled back, Air Force igniting blows. The two began a final barrage of water, and fire sparked every blow. Kisame and Naruto both roared as he went low, and Naruto, when colliding blows, was powerful enough to blow out the raging forest fire, leaving only the smoke. The smoke cleared amongst the burnt logs and scorched earth stood the two pirates. Naruto stood with Kisame fist punching his abs as blood dripped from the blonde's lip. Kisame stood with Naruto fist denting his cheek as his eyes showed only the whites. "Damn you," Kisame whispered as he fell to the ground unconscious. "Haha, nice fight, man," Naruto panted out before collapsing to the floor as well. "Ahhhhhh," Luffy yelled as she flew into a large building in Arlong Park. "Damn," Luffy coughed, getting up, dusting off her straw hat. "He hits pretty hard," the rubber captain said as Arlong burst through the ceiling, his blade swinging, quickly hopped back to avoid the blade. "Well, Straw Hat, are you ready to pay the price for your actions?" Arlong growled, and Luffy shrugged. "Whatever, let's get it going," the Straw Hat said before winding up and firing a Gomu Gomu. No pistolet blow was dodged, and Arlong then grabbed the offending arm and yanked Luffy forward before choke slamming her. "Take a look around," Puman, Arlong grinned, and Luffy looked around and saw the many maps around, and her eyes widened when her eyes landed on chains by a table. "This is where you kept Nami," Luffy whispered before Arlong picked Luffy up and tossed her into the table, shattering it. "Of course I kept her here," Arlong chuckled. "Had to ensure her loyalty." Luffy got to her feet and glared at Arlong. "Nobody," Luffy whispered, eyes shadowed before launching forward and punching Arlong, "teeth out, messing with my crew." Arlong eyes widened at the force of the punch. "Did I get slower?" "No. She just got faster." The Sharkman thought as Luffy began landing punch after punch. "This is for Konami. Broken nose. This is for messing with my crew." Even more teeth punched out. "And this," Luffy raised her fist through the hole he made earlier, "is for making my navigator cry." She then brought it down full force. "Gomu Gomu no ham. Gum Gum hammer," Luffy yelled, hammer punching Arlong with enough force to bring down the building. Outside, Nami arrived at Arlong Park just in time to see her former prison being brought down. Luffy and Nami whispered before running in and saw Sanji holding Zoro with the swordsman arm over his shoulder. "Guys, where's Usopp and Naruto?" Nami asked. "Over here." The group turned to see the sniper running over covered in ketchup. "I won, guys. I legit wanna fight," Usopp cheered, and the other smiled. "But where is Naruto?" Zoro asked before hearing noise and turning to see Arlong climbing out the rubble. "Damn you," Arlong coughed, "I'll kill you all." Arlong grinned with a bloody mouth as his teeth. Others took a stance as Nami hid behind the others as Arlong lunged just before a shirtless Naruto appeared and grabbed Arlong in a one-arm chokehold. "What do you think you're doing?" Naruto said lowly as the others looked at the sword slash on his chest. "Die." Arlong yelled, breaking free and lunging at Naruto before a stretch-out fist hit him and stepped out the rubble, dusting her button-up shirt off, and Arlong looked to see the Straw Hats look down on him with shadowed eyes. "Wait please," Arlong gulped, "forgive me." And Luffy cracked her neck. "I don't forgive slaves and I don't forgive guys like you," Luffy said before winding her fist, and Sanji and Naruto held him down. "Here's a new move for you, Arlong." Luffy yelled, "Gomu Gomu no Gatling." Luffy yelled, firing off a barrage of punches at the already beaten final punch, landing blowing Arlong far away into the middle of the forest. "Guys, you did it," Nami whispered, tears in eyes as the village celebrated behind them. "You beaten." Strawhats smiled, and Luffy winked. "Of course we did." Luffy said, "Nobody messes with my navigator." Luffy said before laughing with the others. "Thank you everyone," Nami thought, shedding her tears. Naruto walked through the woods as he heard the celebration raged on and walked up to the side of his and Kisame fight and looked at the where he woke up with Kisame gone. "Where did you go, Kisame Hashigaki?" Naruto said to himself, reclaiming blank before feeling something soft pressed on his back. "Does it matter?" Luffy said, rubbing her body on his, and Naruto could smell the alcohol on his breath. "You're drunk, Captain," Naruto said before being pushed to the straddle him, eyes covered by her hat and a lopsided grin, and is all she said before pulling Naruto into a sloppy kiss. That day Naruto won a fight and lost his virginity. Naruto sat on the deck of the Going Merry with a blush on his face, mind still stuck on last. He woke up Luffy made it clear that until she became Pirate Queen, that she wasn't look for anything long term, and their relationship was a bit bummed about that, but knew it was probably for the looked, as Luffy looked over the majestic sea ready to set sail. "Hey, is Nami coming?" Usopp asked, snapping Naruto out of his thoughts. "Should be," Naruto commented as he set up his helm. "It's up to her, honestly." Sanji shook his head. "Of course Nami Swan is going to join me, I mean us." Sanji said, ignoring the now healed Zoro grumble of pervert. "Hey look, it's Nami," Luffy said, and the boys looked to see Nami now with a bag over her shoulders running through the crowd. "And she's stealing their money," Naruto sighed as he noticed Nami occasionally pickpocketing a person or two. "Thanks and goodbye everyone," Nami said when she got on board, flashing the stolen barris in her hand, getting shouts of amused outrage to their girl. A little later Naruto is sailing with Nami at his side, directing him where to go. "Hey guys," they heard Sanji and looked down and saw him carry a barrel on him. "Good idea, perv," Naruto chuckled, hopping over and joining, placed his foot on the barrel. "I'm going to discover the all blue," Sanji said, thinking of Zeph and the barrist. "I'm going to be the Pirate Queen," Luffy said, thinking of Shanks and her pops. "I'm gonna draw a map of the Grand Line," Nami said, remembering Bellemere. I'm to recover the treasure of Whirlpool Isle," Naruto said, thinking of why his mother set out to be a pirate in the first place. "And I'm," Usopp paused to think of his mother's dying moments. "I'm gonna be a brave warrior of the sea," he said, getting a smile from everyone else. To the Grand Line they all cheered to find the One Piece. So this part ends here. Alright, that's it for today's video guys. Let me know in the comments section how was the story, and also don't forget to like, share and subscribe. I will meet you in another video. Bye bye.